So, for week two, there's only a few things I've introduced. So, again, we're going to be using our journal, which consists. I posted a new journal sheet for you guys. I posted, I believe, 15 pages. So that's actually going to cover for week two and three. Just because I guesstimated a little too much. So I'll repost that same exact journals in week three, just to indicate that we will be using all those pages. But yes, but for week two, a few things that I'm introducing is going to be your inventory worksheet. Okay, so we'll be making purchases and receiving inventory. So is that something that we're going to be looking at? And for the employees, we're just only going to enter in their information as far as that. Nothing too major for the employees. So just have that worksheet, because next week when we actually start actually doing our business of operations, when we start making our sales and stuff, that is where we're going to be using inventory, and we're going to keep track of how much we're selling and how much we're buying. And then we're also going to be calculating inventory. And then I believe we won't actually touch payroll until the 28th, which is week four. So, so for just today, I just need you don't really need to have it. You can always enter it in later. I kind of give you the answer for it, but definitely we will be using it next week just to record Mr. Allen's work, since he'll be doing a lot of work. So we want to make sure that he gets his money as well. Other things in that, again, we're going to be looking at our general journal, and we're going to be looking at general ledger and our subsidiary ledger. Okay, so here we left off on week one. Okay, so we finished up on page two. As you can see, we have a couple lines here, so that means we need to indicate, so that we can need to draw a line, just so that we could be sure that no one is going to go into our books and start marking stuff in there. So I want to make sure I do that. This is just practice for good measures. But obviously, when we move into like doing QuickBooks, you don't really need to do this, just because the only thing that you just have to remember is, if you do make a mistake, you can edit the information, but you want to make sure that your accountant knows that. Okay, so here I drew a line here so that I don't use it. So that means we're going to be starting on General Journal page 3. Okay, so here we're going to go ahead and see what happened. All right, so we're starting here on Saturday, June 8th. Okay, so Saturday, June 8th, we decided to go to Honest Rob's, and we've decided to purchase a truck. And here are the details on the truck. Okay, so the truck itself was only the truck itself. Let me see, where's the truck? So the truck itself was only about 25,000. Okay, so 28,900, and of course there's tax on it and any registration fees, as well as other fees and documentations that they charge you. Now, this place, they charged tax for $2,340. They had documentation and fees, which cost up $968, which is that sounds pretty right. And then they also have a down payment, which we had to place down. Okay, so again, here are details on what happens when we are doing this thing. So the National Bank, they approved of us to do a loan. And here are their policies when we're doing it. So this 3% interest, which is not bad. That's pretty good for a first-time buyer. And it's due every 20th, and it's going to be due in payable for each month. Payment is going to be $849.81. Now, that is pretty high for a payment. Okay. However, but we got the lowest rate, so that sounds actually pretty accurate. So how especially when you're doing a loan, how much you pay every month is also going to be reflective of how much interest you're going to be charged. Now, the higher the interest, the longer you have to owe, and the more the less payment you have to make. So think about that. If you want a low interest rate, you're gonna expect a higher payment every month. Now, we're gonna go ahead and look at this way. So of course, since we just got the car off of there, the first thing we gotta do is we gotta recognize three things. We gotta recognize our down payment. We gotta recognize that our truck loan, and lastly, we just gotta recognize the truck. We do not accrue interest just yet, just because we just bought it, and we're driving it right off the dealership. So you don't need to charge interest just yet. We haven't received a bill, nor have we started making our payments yet, because we have already paid the down payment. So here, we're going to go ahead and recognize those transactions. Okay? So here on June 8th, okay? Oopsies, June 5th, June 8th. We recognize that we purchased a car, a truck, okay? Things that we're going to recognize is going to be that we made a down payment. And then lastly, we also have a truck loan, okay? So let's go ahead and let's look at a chart of accounts to see what accounts numbers are associated with each one. So my truck is going to be...
Truck's 17010.
He said 17010. 17010, that's correct. And let's look at our truck loan. So it's a loan is a liability. So our truck loan is going to be...
28020.
Yes, 28020, right.
Say that again, 28?
28020.
Perfect. So let's go ahead and indicate this right here. So my truck was 1710.
10.
Uh-huh. And then we have my checking is going to be 10100, and this is 28020. Okay? So, now, the grand total of our truck, including all fees and taxes, is going to be $32,208.90. So $32,208.90. Okay? And we know that we paid $2,887. Is that correct? To our down payment. So therefore, we owe this, oopsies, hold on, let's do it again. We owe whatever this amount is, subtract the down payment, which gives us $29,221.90. Okay, so that is our truck loan. And I'm going to go ahead and indicate this. Okay, so we need to write a check. So that's the first thing. So we're going to go here into our checkbook, and we're going to go ahead and indicate. So we know that we're going to write a check for 1508. Okay? And so 68.
We're going to write a check for 849.
Not 849. We're going to write a check for the down payment, which was $2,987. Okay? And this is to Honest Rob's Auto Shop. All right. So we know that it was for 15, the check number is 1508. So we can complete our description here in parentheses. Okay, so we could say Honest Rob's Auto Shop, comma, check number 1508. Oopsies, 1508. Okay. So there we finished our transaction. Okay, we've registered our check into the check register. We've indicated that we had a down payment, we got a truck loan, and we acquired a truck, and it's brand spanking new. All right. So now we gotta update our ledger. Okay. So a truck is considered what kind of asset?
Equipment,
Okay.
right?
Yes, it is. It is a fixed asset. So let me go ahead and find vehicles. And it should be right under vehicles. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and actually open up that file so I can help you guys find the pages quicker.
Yeah, this is a lot.
Okay.
Okay, so just give me like 1 second to pull up the file for you guys. So I'm going to documents. Say that again. Say that again.
Oh, it's on page 15.
Page 15. Okay, cool.
Yeah, at the top.
Trial balance, subsidiary ledger. Oopsies, not subsidiary. I don't want the subsidiary. I want the ledger. So let me go ahead and pull it up for the future. Here's my journal ledger.
What page are we on?
She said 15. 15?
Yeah, 15 at the top. Uh-huh.
Top of page 15.
Oh, okay, I missed it.
Oh.
So top of page 15. So here, wait, let me pull up my journal too because I have to match them, okay? So in my journal, I debited my truck for $32,208.90. So I'm going to go ahead and indicate that right here. So 6/8. I bought a truck. Post reference is going to be general journal number 3. And it's for $32,208.90. All right. $32,208.90. And I'm going to. Okay. Okay, and then the next thing I did is I wrote a check for $15.08. So I need to go all the way to the top of my page to journalize my, I mean to post to my ledger for my, that I wrote a check. So 6/8, and I'm going to indicate here my description, check number 1508. And this is going to be general journal number 3. And we credited our account with 2987. So therefore, if
Can you show the top
yep.
for a second, the heading? Okay, thank you.
Okay, so if I were to make sure that my formula went through, so all right.
Can we, hold a minute, I'm still on the general ledger.
I'm still,
In and out.
that's fine. I'm still on it too. My new amount.
On the truck area.
Oh, that's fine. My new amount should be for $6,000.
6,000?
Yes, $6,282.29.
Okay, gotcha. Mhm.
Okay. Is everyone ready?
Yeah.
Okay, and then lastly, what is a truck loan?
An expense?
Not an expense. What is a truck loan?
It's a liability.
Liability.
It's a liability. You're owing people money. So, if I were to go here into my liabilities, okay, so for you guys, it's going to be right in the middle of page 22.
22.
Actually, it's for truck loan, it's going to be the last thing on page 22.
Truck loan, I see it.
Okay? So I'm going to scroll down until I find my truck loan, which it should be the last thing.
It is, it's the last one.
Workers' comp, telephone, loans, business loan, and truck loan. Okay, so here I'm going to go ahead and indicate my truck loan for 6/8. In your description, you could go ahead and indicate any information that you have about the truck loan. So, for example, I can write my interest is 3%. I can write how much my payment should be every month. Any details to that you can put into the description. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and indicate that it's going to be 3% for 3 years. Wow, that's a good deal. 3%, 3 years, and every month I'm going to pay $849 and shoot, I don't know how many cents. $849.81. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and indicate it right here. 3 years, comma, 3%. Okay. And payment, so PMT is going to be $849.81 per month. Okay? So I've already indicated all that information. Okay, cool. So my post reference is going to be General Journal number 3. And it's going to be for 29. Make sure you're on the credit side because we're increasing the liability. So 29,221.90 is going to be our total credit balance. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and indicate this and make sure it's formatted as in dollars. Okay, so in this case, it's telling me that my screen is too small. So here we go. I opened it up. So 29,221.90 is going to be our total amount in our truckload. Okay.
Okay.
After that, where do we need to go?
To the subsidiary.
We got to go to our subsidiary because we just made a deal with one of the peoples. Okay, so one of our vendors. So our vendor is going to be Honest Rob. So that should be right under higher temps. Okay, so 6.
Page 6.
Bob, yeah.
Yes. And then it's going to be for the same amount. You could do the same information. So you could say, what was it, 3 year, 3% payment of $849.81 per month. And you can, okay, that's fine. Invoice. Did we have an invoice number? I don't believe so. Post reference. General Journal number 3. Now here, due date, you could do, you could actually type in /20. Oopsies, where's my keyboard? Where's my...
/20.
Or you could just go ahead and write the the 20th because it's due every 20th of the month, right? Your due date is going to be every 20th. Okay?
20th.
So you could just write 20th. You could just leave that blank until you actually receive a bill from Honest Rob. It's up to you. But again, you're not going to be getting a bill from Honest Rob. You know where you're going to be getting the bill from?
Finance people. Your
Yes,
finance people.
the main bank. But you want to make sure that you fill us in just so that you know that you bought it from Honest Rob and that you're expecting you're expecting a loan to be paid off every 20th. So this is kind of relevant, kind of not. Invoice amount, again, it's going to be for the 2987 dollars. Reason being, make sure you indicate that you wrote a check number in the Honest Robs. Now, why is that your invoice number, your invoice amount isn't for the full 32,000?
Because you're making payments.
Okay,
All at once.
yes, but are you owing Rob?
Yes.
No, you're not.
Oh, well, I know you're a finance company.
Yes. So whoever your main bank is who that's going to be for the full amount of 32,000. I mean for the full 2922 the whatever the bank loan is worth.
Yeah.
But for Honest Rob, once you've paid your down payment, you have nothing to do with him because you're not responsible to pay the loan to Rob. You're responsible to pay the loan to the bank.
To the bank, right.
Exactly. So here we're only going to indicate how much our down payment amount was, and which we did pay 2987, and that means our amount that we owe to Mr. Rob should be 0. Okay.
Oh, just 1 second. I had to get up for a moment.
Yeah, because Rob's just the middleman, right?
Yes, Rob is just the middleman.
290, 7,
Now, again, all this information you can apply it to the main bank loan person that the vendor is going to be looking at. But for right now, they haven't sent us the bill yet, so it's okay to just leave it here for now.
Yes.
Okay, until we receive the bill from the bank to pay our car payment off, that is when we'll go ahead and insert that information in the correct vendor's location. But in this case, we just purchased the car from Mr. Rob, and now we are done. Okay? So let's go back to our scenario and see what happened next. Now that we've already indicated everything, we paid them off. All right. So the next thing that we have is a purchase order number 305 to All Things Ceramics. Okay. So we're going to be ordering 80 ceramic coffee mugs. And per unit price is going to be $2.45 each, with a total cost of $196. However, they require, because we're a first-time buyer, they require a $100 deposit or a down payment. Okay? So, in other words, we're going to pay them in advance. Okay? We're going to pay them in advance, and then when they send it to us, the bill's going to be for a lower amount. Okay? So let's go ahead and first fill out the purchase order just so that we know that we have something coming in. So I'm going to go to my PO and I'm going to fill out for the 5th.
So we're just going down, a down payment, right?
We're just doing a down payment, yes. And we're doing this to All Things Ceramic. What are we buying? We're buying 80 mugs.
yeah, coffee mugs.
And the total for it is going to be $196. Okay. We haven't received anything from anybody yet, so we are still pending 3 things. We're pending stuff from Haley, we're pending stuff from furniture store, and we're pending now coffee mugs. Okay? So now let's go ahead and go to the journal, and let's go ahead and indicate that amount real quick, because they want a deposit to All Things Ceramics just so then they can place the order for us. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and indicate that it's going to be a prepaid account. So we're paying them in advance. Prepaid.
Hey, yeah.
Yes, for the 8. Did I write 8? Yes. Prepaid accounts. Okay. And obviously, we're going to be writing a check. All right. So if I remember prepaid accounts, go ahead.
Can I just ask one quick question?
Yes.
What's the difference between a deposit and a down payment?
So a down payment, right? It's essentially you're making a prepayment. Like you're already going to have things already for the item that you're purchasing, right? The deposit, what a deposit does is it's just there for safeguard keepings. For example, a rent deposit, right? You will never utilize your rent deposit until, oh, I can't make rent this time. Okay, that's fine. You already made a deposit.
Right.
Oh, I broke the water line. Okay, we're gonna take that out of your
Here,
deposit.
You're actually making a payment toward what you're.
Exactly. And that's why we call it a prepaid account.
Okay.
So, for example, prepaid rent, right? You're paying rent in advance.
Yes, okay. That
Okay.
makes sense. Okay.
Yes. Okay, so accounts payable, if I remember, it should be 18,600.
2,000.
18 what?
It should be 2,000 accounts payable. The liability, right?
This is prepaid accounts.
Okay, you're right. I'm sorry.
Okay. And it's for $100. All right. Now, since we indicated that we're going to be sending them a check, let's go ahead and verify what check number that is. So we're going to go ahead and write a check number for 1509. So 68 for $100 down payment to All Things Ceramics. Okay. So here I filled out my check register. I know that it's going to be for check number 1509. So then I can go ahead and validate and fill in the rest of my description right here. So here I'm going to indicate the vendor, which is All Things Ceramics. I'm going to indicate the PO number because we're doing a prepayment for it, which was 305. And then I'm going to write check number, what was it, 1509?
Yes.
All right.
PO number.
170305.
170305. Okay. Check number 1509.
1509 is correct. Okay?
All right.
All right, so we already updated all those things. So now our journal is done. And now where do we need to go?
The ledger.
The ledger, that is correct. Prepaid accounts should be on page 15. Let's see.
Yes.
15? Okay, perfect. Okay, so here's my journal, and here is my ledger. And let's see. we know that prepaid accounts is going to be towards the end. So let me see.
On page.
Prepaid goodwill deposits, prepaid accounts. Perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead and write this in here. That, okay, and I'm gonna write down pay on PO number 170305. Okay.
Yes.
General journal number 3. And since I increased it by $100, therefore my prepaid should be now $7,926.04.
6 and 4, okay.
Yes. Okay. Now, once we've done that, we need to update our last account, which is going to be checking. Okay. So, number 8, checking number, what is it, 1509?
1509.
Okay. General journal number 3. And we credited our account for $100. So my new amount should be $61.8229. Okay,
Oh, just 1 second.
no worries.
61. I need another pair of glasses. Very not good. Oh my goodness, it's terrible. Okay, I got it.
Can you leave it right there for a minute, please?
Yep, I will stop here.
Okay.
Okay.
Six. Okay.
All right. Okay. Now, question to you guys. Should we update our subsidiary ledger or not?
Yes.
Not yet.
We made it.
Okay, so I have yes and then I have a no.
Yeah,
I-
because
I-
this,
I- Cause I was
This
thinking
is-
we made a down payment.
yeah, this is a down payment. So it's not the total amount. But yeah, I guess we would have to, because we cut a check for it.
Yes, you can do it now or you can wait till the bill comes. But I'm gonna go ahead and do it now just because
Yeah.
I've already wrote a check to them, so they're technically my vendor. Even if they don't send me anything, I can at least go call them up and be like, "Hey, I wrote you a check. I have it in my records. You better either send me my stuff or, you know, or give me my check back." Exactly. So all things ceramics. So yes, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna indicate this right now. Okay, that I wrote a check number 1509. It was a 1509?
Yes.
Okay, so invoice number, we don't have one, but you definitely want to put PO 170305 just so then you have that on record. That is the purchase order that you paid in advance. Is there a due date? No. Now, invoice a prepaid amount. You don't need to indicate this unless you chose to wait till the bill comes. Then you could go ahead and put prepaid amount and your total bill would be less. But in this case, I'm going to do it now. I'm gonna record it now. So that means my invoice amount is going to be for $100. Okay. And I made my payment to it already for $100. So therefore, I should my account balance should be 0 for this specific person because I already paid them the full amount so far. Okay, so I don't owe them anything, they owe me something. Okay, so at least we could be able to be aware of that and indicate that. Okay, and making sure that we wrote our check on this day, so therefore if you don't send me the check, I will cancel it or I will do something to try to revoke it, okay? All right, so this is just for good practice measures just to keep yourself intact and making sure that you spent money somewhere, okay? All right, so let's go back to our journal and let's go back to our scenario. All right. All right, continuing on Saturday, June 8th, we received from the furniture store. Okay, so here we received our bistro tables and chairs. Okay, so just looking at this information, okay, it's going to be net 15. All right. And here we have how much the tables cost us. We got the tax that was on it as well as the delivery charge. So our total due is going to be $660508. So because there was only one item on this is the exact amount that you're going to transfer into your tables and chairs. Okay. So in this case, we don't need to separate, we don't need to calculate anything. It's already done for us. And because we received a bill and we're not going to pay it yet, so therefore we've created a what?
Accounts payable.
We created an accounts payable. So let's go ahead and indicate this journal in our journal. Okay, so for 6/8, we acquired bistro tables and chairs.
Yes.
And we have an accounts payable. Okay. And let's see, what else do we know? We know that this is from furniture store and this is invoice number 75. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and indicate here that this is from the furniture store and they sent us an invoice number 75. Okay, and for purposes, I'm going to go ahead and just put net 15. So I know it's due in 15 days. All right. So let's go ahead and look at how much, what our furniture is for the bistro tables and chairs in our chart of accounts.
13010.
13010. Perfect.
Accounts payable will be 2000.
20,000.
Oh, 20,000.
Okay, and it's for 660508 on each side. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and update our ledger. So we're gonna understand that tables and chairs are considered what? They're considered furniture. So, inventory. here you go. Bistro tables and chairs. So for you guys, it's going to be on the last thing on page 9.
Page 9, okay. Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Okay. And we're going to go ahead and indicate on 6-8. Post reference is your general journal number 3. And we've increased it with a debit for 60508, which is your beginning balance, or I mean, which is your normal balance. Okay. So, okay. Last thing that we need to do is liabilities. So our accounts payable, which should be on page 17 for you guys.
17. Yes, accounts payable.
Accounts payable. And we're going to indicate that we just increased everything that we owe. So I'm going to go ahead and write here invoice number 75. Okay. General journal number 3. And we increased our accounts payable with a 660508. So therefore, our new balance should be now $10,033.75 in our accounts payable. So we owe a lot of money.
10,000.
Yep. Okay. And then lastly, we got to go to our subsidiary ledger and update our invoice information for our furniture store.
Okay.
Furniture store.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, so on 6-8. Okay, invoice number 75. And it's going to be general journal number 3. And it is going to be due when? In 15 days. So net 15. So what's 15 plus 8 days?
23rd.
23rd. Exactly. So 2-3, 2-3. And we know it's going to be for the full amount of 660508. Okay. Which we did not pay. So therefore, we owe $6,605.08. Now at the bottom, again, I don't need you to have this, but I currently owe furniture store $9,375, which is a lot.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So, all right. Now making it back way to our scenario and our journal. So we've indicated we received everything, we added the tax, and we updated the subsidiary ledger. Okay. So now Monday rolls around, so we skipped a day.
We had to have a day off.
Yeah, of course. All right, so June 10, which is Monday, okay? So we skipped the whole entire day. The first thing that we did on Monday was we paid Miss Kim Robinson. It's Robinson. I need to change that since I made that executive decision to change her name. So Kim Robinson, right? We owed her $1,000. So how do we pay off a liability? Okay? Why would you debit accounts payable?
Because you're paying it off.
Right? What does a debit do in accounts payable?
Decrease?
It decreases, right? This is the normal balance method, right? Because we're debiting a liability which normally has a credit balance. We're decreasing it by debiting it. So again, we're gonna write a nice check for 1510 to Kim Robinson, and for the consultation fee for $1,000. So I'm gonna go ahead and indicate all the information just because I've already given it to you. So I need to recognize June 10. Okay. Accounts payable. And I'm going to indicate that I wrote a check. And here you go. Whoopsies. I don't know what I just did. All right. Kim Robinson, comma, consultation fee, comma, check number 1510 for $1,000. Okay, so my accounts payable is 20,000 and my checking is 10,100. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to my check register and I'm gonna make sure that I indicate and I make this check to her. So 610 for $1,000, and it is to Kim Robinson. Okay, and I'm gonna also fix this real quick.
Oh, where's my check register? I'm buried under these papers.
Yes.
Oh, here it is.
Okay, hurry up. Nope, nope, nope. Okay, so everybody okay?
Yeah.
All right. So now that we've done that, let's go back to my general journal, and we're going to now update our subsidiary ledger. So we decreased our accounts payable by $1,000. So let's go ahead.
Don't we have to go to check register or check ledger before we go to subsidiary?
Um,
We just did.
we just did. We're going to the ledger, not the subsidiary.
Okay, we just did the check the general ledger.
No, we
Yeah,
just
we
did the
didn't put it
check
on the
reg.
ledger.
We just did the check register.
Okay, I thought we did the subsidiary one last.
We do the subsidiary last. We're doing the general ledger.
Yes. Oh, okay. I thought you said subsidiary.
Yeah,
No.
I thought you did too.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Well, we just went, so we need to update our general ledger.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So here we're gonna go find our liabilities, which for you guys should be page 17. And we're going to indicate right here 168 that we paid check number 1510.
That's not on the 10th that we did this?
Yes. Oh, yes, you're right. For consultation. Okay, so let me write that June 10. My bad, thank you. And we wrote this on the general journal number 3. And I just, okay, hold on. General journal number 3. So now we're decreasing our accounts payable. So we're going to indicate here that it's a debit for oopsies for $1,000, not 100. So therefore, our new total should be $9,333.75, which we know all of those go to Mr. Furniture Store, right? All those things we owe to the furniture store.
Okay. 9,033.75.
Okay?
Okay.
And then now, lastly, we got to update our checking account. So go to page 1 on the ledger, and we're going to indicate that we wrote a check. So therefore, we're decreasing our total amount that we have. So here, check number 1510, general journal number 3. And we're decreasing it by $1,000. So we should get a new amount of $5,182. Okay, let me just,
29 cents.
yep, and 29 cents. Highlight this and change the format.
Oh, go on to page 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Kim Robbins is under,
Her last name.
okay, her last name.
Yep. All right. If we've already finished that, then yes, we got to move to our subsidiary ledger and go ahead and follow up that we made a payment to Miss Kim Robinson.
Okay.
So let me go ahead and scroll down. So here's LV. Here's Landlord Properties, NV, National Bank, Office Supply, Restaurant. Here is Robinson Kim. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and indicate right here on the next line 610. All right, and I'm going to write check number 1510. Okay, same invoice, so make sure that you indicate that was for 1542, general journal number 3. So this one, now I see that it's due on the 10th, correct? So I did it right, I did it correctly. However, what I'm going to indicate in this journal is, or this part of the ledger, is I'm going to make my payment right here. Okay? So right now, it says that I owe $1,000 in my accounts payable. But if I were to do this, and I were to pull that formula down, that means my total that I owe for this person should be 0. Okay? So here I indicated that I owe $1,000, and here I indicated that I paid $1,000. So generally, it should be in parentheses to understand that's a negative number.
Yeah.
Okay. So here, I made my payment. Okay. This is a lot easier and a lot clearer. Now, what you could have done is, instead of making this extra line here, what you could have done is, if you are like this, you could have said you made the payment here, and it would indicate that you have 0 in that box. But the only thing is, you would have to change a few things in here, which, in our case, we're not supposed to do. We can't just write general journal number 3. We can't, fit it in here saying, oh, I wrote check number 1510. So in this case, it kind of shows you kind of like a guideline of, okay, well, on this day, I owed $1,000, and then on this day, I paid the $1,000, so therefore I owe $0 to Kim Robinson. Okay, so this way it kind of gives you like a step-by-step and visible way of seeing, and it keeps better track of your transactions as well.
Right.
Yes. Okay. So let's go back to my journal and go back to the scenario. All right, so I've already paid Miss Kim Robinson. Okay. Okay, same day on Monday, but this time it says here banks approve of a business credit card Visa with a $10,000 credit line limit. Okay, and at the end of the month, the balance you're going to be charged 18% interest on the credit card for any unowed balances. So, of course, and payments are due every 10th of the month. Okay. Now, you can indicate this in your Visa payable if you'd like. You don't have to. Or for your vendor, which should be National Bank Visa Gold Card. But in this case, I'm okay. I don't really need to, just because it should indicate this on the credit card statement, right? Every time you receive the bill, it should indicate at the top of how much you owe, how much the interest rate is, and how much interest have you been charged with. So all that information should already be on the credit card statement. So you don't really need to indicate that anywhere. Now, is this a transaction that we need to record?
No,
Why?
because we didn't spend money or make money or money in.
Exactly. We haven't even used the credit card yet. It's just been approved, and that we have an additional $10,000 to spend. However,
Our bank.
it isn't in our bank. Yes, it is a credit line, of course. It's us owing more money. Of course, we haven't used it yet, so we don't really technically owe anybody anything right now. As far as right now, we owe zero until we spend it. Okay?
Okay.
So let's go ahead and see what happened next. It says here that we received our coffee mugs. Yay. And it tells us in parentheses that it's going to be a periodic weighted average. Okay. So here we have the information here that this was sent by invoice number 126. This was sent from All Things Ceramics, and they give us terms of 1%, 10, net 20. Okay, cool. All right, it gives us all this information saying subtotals 196. We made a prepayment for $100, and they charged us shipping for another $100. So we have a few things that we need to indicate. We need to indicate that we received inventory, but because it's periodic, what is this? How are we gonna record this transaction?
Purchase expense and freight expense.
Correct. Purchase expense and freight expense, and then we need to, since we're not paying it right away, we're gonna owe them money. But we're also going to take out our prepayment. So remember our deposit from earlier? We're going to go ahead and apply that to this invoice since they've already taken it out of their bill. Okay, so we need to do the same thing. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's do step number 1 first. Let's go ahead and indicate that we received this purchase order, and write down that is for 126. So purchase orders. Okay, so here we received All Things Ceramics, 80 mugs, right? So we received, and it was for 126. So that means we're still waiting on, oh wait, we received the bistro tables, didn't we? Yes, we did. We forgot to indicate that. It was number 75. But we haven't received our stuff from Haley Bros yet. Okay, so here we've already indicated that. Now let's go back to our journal, and let's go ahead and finish our transaction. So we indicated that 610. We know that it's a periodic inventory. So we have a purchase expense and we have a freight expense. Okay? Let me go ahead and fix the word purchase. Okay, and freight expense, okay? And we know that we had a prepayment, so because we debited earlier, now we need to take it out. So, prepaid accounts. And we're also owing them money, so therefore we have an accounts payable. Okay, since we're not going to pay them yet. So, what is the inventory account number for? I'm sorry, not inventory account. What is the expense account number and for purchase expense and freight expense?
Purchase expense is 6,100.
6,100. 6,100. And my freight expense,
1,000.
61,000. And then my freight expense should be 6,200, 400, 500, 600. 6,600. I think it's 6,600.
6,600.
60,300.
60,300. I was off. All right. My prepaid should be 18,600. And my accounts payable is 20,000. Okay.
Prepaid is 118.
It should be 18,600.
Oh,
Okay. So let's go ahead and look at this information carefully. We have a purchase expense of, we bought 80 cups at $2.45, which gives us a grand total of how much?
196.
196. So our purchase expense here is going to be for 196. 196. Okay. And how much was freight charged us?
100.
$100. Okay. And then how much did we prepaid?
100.
Yes,
yeah,
we
100.
paid a $100 payment. So therefore, the amount that I owe to them is going to be 196.
Yes.
Okay, and if we check to double check that if your debits match your credits, they do match each other for $296.
Yes.
Okay, so here I'm going to go ahead and indicate my description since I know what is expected. So here I'm going to write all things ceramics because that's my vendor. I'm going to indicate that I received it through invoice number 126. And I'm going to indicate 1%, 10, net 20. Okay, so I'm gonna indicate that just so that I am aware that I can receive a 1% discount if I pay within 10 days. If I don't, the whole thing's due in 20 days.
Now,
Okay.
who do you report somebody that you have a 1% discount on this, or?
Whoever is in charge of your purchase orders, or you could have someone that's purchase orders specifically, or inventory manager. And if they let the accountant know, hey, if we pay now, we could take a 1% discount. If you don't, then then you're gonna miss out. Now that's all dependent on your accountant, because the accountant is going to tell you, hey, do you even have enough money to pay? Right now, we only have $5,000 in our bank.
Yes.
And we owe a lot of money. So let's just wait a few minutes before we can actually decide whether we have enough to pay the $196.
Who's in charge of making that decision?
The accountant or whoever the well, actually it's going to be the boss because the boss signs the boss or the owner is going to sign the checks. So they are going to say, I'm going to make a payment now. So the inventory manager is going to let the accountant say, hey, if you pay this, then we can take a discount. The accountant's going to go to the boss and say, hey, we're going to get a discount if you pay now. If the owner writes the check and validates it, lets the accountant know, the accountant will tell the purchase guy, and the purchase guy will proceed with the check, and then that's how it works.
Okay.
Okay? So now that we have indicated and we know exactly what we're doing here and we finish our journal, let's go ahead and post to the ledger. Okay? So first thing I see on my ledger is going to be a purchase expense. So for you guys, purchase expense is going to be
38.
page 38. Yes, top of 38.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, so for mine, I'm going to go to my operating expenses. So something like this, if you skip around, you may miss an account.
Okay.
So here I'm looking, okay, well, I missed it right here, purchase expense. So here I'm going to get to indicate 810 that I purchased, and I'm going to go ahead and indicate right here that this is 80 coffee mugs. Huh? What did you say?
It's 80 mugs.
Yes. Journal number 3. And I have debited my account by $196. So therefore, I should have my running balance as 196. Okay? And I'm going to highlight this and change the format so I can see my cents. Okay? Then we're going to scroll all the way up to go to my freight expense. Okay, so my freight expense account should be a few pages up. So I found mine right here, freight expense.
You found it?
I found mine. Yours pages should be a few up.
Huh? What page?
Oh, it's on page 35 at the top.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Okay, so freight expense. I've indicate that this post reference is 3, and I've increased my freight expense by 100 on the debit side. Okay.
And are we what are we referencing? Oh, what's his freight expense? Never mind.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna also write for 80 coffee mugs. Okay.
Okay, good. Yeah,
Okay. And I spelled coffee wrong.
okay. Okay, so freight and expense, prepaid accounts.
Next is prepaid accounts, which should be page either, I think it's page 16 for you guys. Top of page 16. If not, it's probably page 15, bottom of page 15.
Page
Yeah,
15.
yeah, bottom of page 15.
Okay. Prepaid accounts. So I'm going to go ahead and indicate here 610, general journal number 3. And now that I have already taken, I need to take it out my deposit, prepaid account, since I'm already received the bill and they've taken it out. So you should have now $7,826.04. So basically, right back where we started before.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
And then lastly, for our liabilities, page 17, you need to indicate the last thing here, which is that you owe now more money. Okay?
Payable.
And I'm going to go ahead and write invoice number
Is the
126,
account payable?
page 17.
Oh, 17.
Top of page 17, yes. General journal number 3.
Gotcha. Got it. Okay.
And because I'm increasing my account on the credit side, I'm increasing it by $196. So my new account balance should be $9,229.75.
Oh, the credit note was spent.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
2 through 9. 1, 2.
And lastly, we go to the substitute.
What was that? 9229.
75?
75. Oh,
75? Yes. All right. Lastly, we got to do is we got to indicate this in our subsidiary ledger under all things ceramics. So, all things ceramics. So, 610. Okay. Here, I'm going to go ahead and indicate my 1%. My 1% 10 net 20. Okay. 20. This one's different. And then, so what is going to be 10 days after? Okay, just so then I can indicate my discount period. When do I need to pay for my discount period?
On the 20th?
I need to pay by the 20th of June. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and indicate it right there. Now, my invoice number is 126. Okay, general journal number 3. And then my due date, my actual due date is going to be in 20 days. So what is 20 days from the 10th?
20th.
No,
the 30th.
it'd be the 30th. Okay, 20 days after the 10th. So it'd be the 30th. And the whole entire invoice amount is going to be for $196. And in this case, I am not going to pay yet until later. So if I were to calculate this, it should give me that I owe $196. And at the bottom, it should tell you that you owe $196. Okay. Okay, so right now it is almost 3 o'clock. I'm going to stop here